You can use this amazing AI tool that can generate an audio file or a podcast from large data sources. It'll create notes and help you learn anything you're interested in. This is NotebookLM from Google, and it uses Google's most capable AI model. To give you an idea of NotebookLM's capabilities, a startup founder who participated in one of Y Combinator's batches uploaded a document of 1,814 pages from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. NotebookLM created audio that sounds like two podcasters with a YouTube channel of 500,000 subscribers. When you go to notebooklm.google.com, click on the Create button. Load your data sources, and you can actually upload multiple data sources from Google Drive, a link from a website. You can paste text, or you can upload a PDF, which we'll do in a moment. You have this bar down here that indicates your source limit. We'll upload this big book of Gen AI from Databricks. And to give you an idea of how big this PDF is, it's 118 pages. Once your document has been uploaded, NotebookLM brings your attention to features that can help you create resources from your document. Before we get into that, let's go through the layout of this window here. On the left panel, we have our sources, and then on the main section of the web page here, you can add a note, you can type a note, but let's focus on these other features first. You can ask it to create an FAQ, so that creates a note and starts working on that task. Click on the notebook guide to bring up those suggested features again. Now we have this pop-up modal of the FAQs that NotebookLM generated, and that only took a couple seconds to generate. Just glancing at these FAQs, they appear to be applicable and pretty important, but there are only 8 questions from a document of 118 pages. Let's look at this study guide feature with these questions, and these questions do appear to be pretty good at first glance. So it provides you with the questions, and then it gives you the answer key along with some essay questions that might require a longer response. There's also a glossary. You can kind of pick out the key terms, but the format still needs a bit of work. Remember, this is an experimental tool, so Google will probably continue improving it. There's a timeline feature which isn't applicable to this document, but if you have dates or years in your document, then it'll put a timeline together. You can create a briefing doc, and here's our briefing doc with the key themes and ideas from the document. We'll take a look at some of these other features, including the audio overview. We'll click on generate. It'll probably take NotebookLM a couple minutes to generate the audio. So in the meantime, we've renamed the notebook to Databricks Guide to Generative AI. But now that it's ready, let's give this audio a listen.
You know, it's crazy how generative AI went from like this niche tech thing that only like a handful of people were talking about to being everywhere practically overnight. It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a rapid shift.
So there are two voices conversing with each other about the contents, the topic of the data sources. And this sounds really good. But you can also increase the playback speed. So we'll change it to 2x.
Yeah, definitely. It goes way beyond the hype. Totally. So the book ranks despite its size. Wow, that's impressive. So to be clear, it's not only open source.
So that's really awesome. But one of the great features about this is you can download it so you can prep to share material, study, or learn new material on the go. Let's take a look at one of these suggested questions. We'll do the first one for the key stages in deploying generative AI applications. And we can compare this to the document by going to the left navigation and clicking on that data source. That'll expand the left panel, and we can see the contents specifically at the beginning of the document in the table of contents. So everything seems to match up as far as the stages go. It also gives us these annotations in the response, so when we click on one of them, we can see the source of the content and its specific location. And let's try another one further down in the document. So this annotation highlights the portion about the vector database storage, and this one speaks to the benefits of RAG. However, it does highlight the portion right after it mentions the benefits of RAG. If we click on the source guide drop down here, you can see the summary, but you can also click on the key topics. And as we clicked on the first one, Gen AI applications, it generates some key points, highlights for that topic. And of course, we can chat with NotebookLM regarding our data sources. So we'll ask it this question on improving the response quality of my RAG application. You can save these responses to a note. If you want to see your note, you can switch back and forth between the chat and the notes by clicking on View Chat at the bottom here. And if you're in the chat window, you can click on this X in the top right corner to close it and view your notes. When it comes to sharing, it's similar to Google Docs in that you can add users as viewers or editors. Viewers will only have read access, but editors can add or remove data sources as well as notes. So there are a lot of great use cases for NotebookLM. You can use the content that it generates to create your own podcast, generate video to go with the audio using another tool. If you check the NotebookLM Discord, you'll see some examples and use cases. And I want to highlight a couple of them. If we look at this one, in this particular notebook, it looks like there are uploaded images that include handwritten notes or letters. And NotebookLM is discussing the contents of these letters. So it appears to read the text that's within the images. Another example we have is a user downloading the audio overview and uploading it into Descript.com to create an audiogram. So this is another way you can create visual video content. I've seen mention of this tool called HeyGen, where you can use the audio overview and sync it to talking avatars. There's also another tool called Hedra. And take a look at this.
Just some building, it's this massive fortress.
Exactly. Taking the brunt of it all. The iron
It looks like the video has a filter here, but the movements of the characters are much more natural. You can prepare, study for exams, presentations, prepare for job interviews, create content for marketing or sales materials, audit client websites. When you're preparing for something like an interview, if you've produced good results in previous roles, the audio generated by NotebookLM can absolutely give you a confidence boost. It sounds like two real people discussing your amazing credentials and how qualified you are. You can use it as a pep talk, so by the time you go into the conversation, you can put your best foot forward. The list goes on and on. So what are you planning to use NotebookLM for? If you found this useful, like the video and leave a comment. If you want more content on AI, workflow automation, and analytics, subscribe to the channel.